friends, it's Michelle from Little Farm in the Valley. So it's come to my attention that my freezers need to be cleaned. Like every time I go down there lately, it's starting to bother my OCD that, okay, these freezers are really bad. They're unorganized. There's stuff in this freezer that is supposed to be in the other freezer. It's just all clutter. And the winter is kind of the ideal time because no one takes time in the summer to clean freezers, right? So we're in the deep dark of winter, and I think I'm gonna take today and, at least make a start, right? I don't know that I'll get to the end. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I think I have to address the freezer situation. It can't go on like this, and from this point it's just gonna get worse, right? So before it gets worse, I think today we need to deal with some freezer organization. So we have 3 freezers. There's one. This is a refrigerator that's plugged out right now, thankfully, or this freezer would need to be organized too. And then we have this freezer, a stand-up freezer, and then just a refrigerator with another freezer on top. So this is supposed to be the meat freezer. It is full of meat, but it's also supposed to be organized, and it is extremely unorganized. For example, a couple of days ago, I breaded some meat. What I do as a time saver is whenever I bread meat, I put out more than one meal. So I make one meal, let's say that day for lunch, and then I bread some to just keep in these bags. These are deer cutlets. So I have to put these in bags. I have a couple bags laying around already. And these are super easy to just grab and go when you're in town or something and you come home and you want a quick meal. You don't have to mess around with breading the meat. So I can just take these individually if I can pry them off. Usually I can do it the same day, but of course I forgot about them. So I'm just going to pry them off so that they're individually laying in these bags. So that needs to be cleaned up. And then the freezer itself really needs to be organized. So that's supposed to be the meat freezer. So this freezer I would label as more of maybe a catch-all, but it's practically also a meat freezer because when we butchered our chickens, we ended up having to put most of our chickens in here. Normally what would be in this freezer is like breads, and over there from our dry storage pantry, like the big bags of flour and stuff, when I get more than one, I would put it in here just to preserve the flour better. There's some meat in here. There's some vegetables in here that aren't supposed to be. Some buns, some bread. This is more of the meat that I did yesterday. I'm not sure what that is, but there's some milk that we keep frozen for emergencies. And then there's some boxes of meat that I wish I could fit into the meat freezer. There's random fruit cakes and baked stuff. So I know that there's more fruit cakes in this freezer. There's more baked stuff in this freezer. It needs to be all in the same place. And it is just not. So the stand-up freezer is supposed to be the fruit and veggie freezer. So there's the freeze-dried fruit. There's a bunch of frozen vegetables. In the side here, I keep my jams and jellies and stuff. On top is supposed to be just like the peanuts and stuff. So this is where the other fruit cakes ended up. There's random stuff stuffed in here everywhere. There's a pumpkin pie. Not sure what that even is, but there's buns that should be in the bread freezer. It's just really bad. This bottom shelf is supposed to be like baked stuff, baked goods stuff like chocolate chips, marshmallows, etc. I know there's stuff stuffed in there that's not supposed to be there. There's coffee here. So yeah, it's just really badly in need of organizing everything. So this freezer is normally my dairy and butter and cheese freezer. There's some butter, there's some cheese, there's some frozen goat's milk to make cheese somewhere in the freezer, and it has kind of also become just a catch-all. So I know there's meat in here, there's ham in here that's not supposed to be. It's just all over the place. I'm not sure what's back there. More peppers that are supposed to be in the veggie freezer. These are some soups. There's milk that can be in the big freezer. No idea what that is. So I'm honestly thinking the best way to approach this might be to just take some big boxes, start emptying freezers and try and organize stuff and hope that we get somewhere. Like, I don't think I could do it without completely emptying the freezer. So it's got to be done from top to bottom. And the point where it's at now is like, if something isn't done soon, it's going to go even more out of control and be even harder to deal with. So it has to be done today. So normally our meat freezer is actually very organized. This would be for beef, this basket for chicken. This is also a beef basket. There's a pork and a lamb basket. For some reason there's a chicken in the pork basket. There was just random meat thrown in everywhere on top. I couldn't even tell what was what anymore. So it's starting to kind of look like it should. And this is kind of the catch-all corner. Who knows what all is down here. That's a beef heart. There's some more chickens in here. But normally it's actually very organized. It's just really gotten out of control. Yep. So Stetson is in the freezer and he's throwing out cut up chicken. What I actually have is my laundry baskets. That one's whole chickens. This is mostly beef, organ meat. This is deer. This is random stuff. That's ham. This is cut up chicken. What he's throwing out now is all cut up chicken. This is pork.
I'm gonna get me that one.
I think this is a brisket. This big one right here.
I'm gonna get me that one on there.
I can't reach it. You'll have to jump in and get it. So we're starting to make some progress. Or we're just making a bigger mess. I don't know yet. So the meat freezer is defrosted. I cleaned the baskets. I actually added another hamper, a very large one. Yep. So I'm right now trying to find room for the other basket. And then we can start filling and organizing these baskets for the meat freezer. So the meat freezer is once again the meat freezer. This is random stuff. This whole top is the whole chickens. And then underneath the chickens, this hamper is full of whole chickens. Then we have the two beef hampers. This one is a beef, this one is a beef. And then over here, there's one full of ham, and then I think under here is the lamb one. So kind of ended up just having to scatter the chickens over the top here because this is by far what takes up the most room is our chickens this is the last chickens that we butchered. And they're huge. Like their average weight was almost 7 to 8 pounds. Like this is a monster chicken. So this is what takes up the most space. But we did manage to get all of them into the meat freezer. Now I just have to get it closed again. So this freezer that was kind of the catch-all freezer kind of turned into a meat freezer too. So we have all the beef organ meats in this green box, the livers, the hearts, all that good stuff, all in a separate. And this is the cut up chicken, like the chicken that I showed you earlier that I breaded. And then there's bags of chicken cutlets, also from our chickens that we butchered. So this hamper is full of cut up chicken. And then this one, oh, this is the pork one. And then on top of the pork one, I just have more of these cutlets and stuff that I breaded, chicken and deer. So that's on top, ready to grab and go. This corner here is the bread. These boxes are ground beef. That's some leftovers that we're going to use up today. So I feel good that we at least got stuff into hampers and organized. It wasn't just laying around everywhere anymore. It's finally all in boxes and marked accordingly. So there's that freezer. So this one was my fruit and veggie freezer, and I feel like I kind of have that back now. There's fruit, veggies, fruit cakes, our blueberries. So then this shelf is kind of my catch-all of my cooking and baking overflow. Like when I make double a casserole recipe, I think this is a casserole. There's muffins when I make too many muffins. I don't want them going bad, so I'll put a container in here so we have muffins to grab and go. There's my homemade tortilla shells. So that's kind of my leftover casserole and leftover baked stuff. Down here is the broccoli and the pumpkin, and then that one is chocolate chips, M&Ms, all that good stuff for baking. And then my jellies, the bottom shelf here is peanuts. So this is kind of back to being my dairy one. The goat's milk. This is the soup, the Gashel soup that we make. This is all cheese, butter, cheese. So there's that one. So we've actually made quite a bit of progress, but there's this thing that's nagging at the back of my mind. The upstairs freezer, like the upstairs refrigerator, that freezer has kind of become a catch-all too. So maybe I'll tackle it today, maybe not. I feel like we've made some major progress today though. So one thing that I didn't have room for was all these baskets, mainly because of those whole chickens laying on top of the freezer. But as we use up those chickens, I will have these baskets again and be able to keep stuff even more organized. I just have to clean those out and stack them somewhere. So I just thought I would mention, as we were going through our freezers and organizing our meat, I realized, you know, there's actually very little meat in our freezers from the grocery store. I so rarely have to buy meat from a grocery store. And it hit me that most of the meat that we were organizing was either meat that we raised, the animals, or some local farmers and ranchers raised it and we were able to buy it in bulk. And we actually saved so much money buying meat in bulk, whereas in the grocery store it would probably be twice that much. And in the grocery store you can't so much depend on, okay, if there's a meat sale, you can't depend on actually finding what you need because so many people are after the meat when there's a sale. So I just realized that, wow, we're really blessed that, you know, we have the freezer space and we know local people that we can support in buying meat from them and saving money that way, and in raising some of the meat on our own. I would like to branch out a little bit more this year, maybe raise some turkey. Right now we're in the process of raising some pork for ourselves. So yeah, we're just really fortunate that we're able to do that, and it just made me extra thankful for our local farmers and ranchers as I was looking at the bounty that we had in our freezer. So anyway, just wanted to say that it's a good feeling having all that organized, and now I finally know what's what in my freezers. It wasn't easy. It was a pretty much a full day's work, but we got it done. So anyway guys, thank you for watching my freezer organizing. I feel so much better now that I can actually make sense of what I have, and I felt like it was just spiraling out of control. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a video, and we will talk to you soon.